Hello, I'm Patrick, pronouns he, him, and this is the October 2021 Gauntlet Community Open Gaming session of Extremis, which is a Lumen game or an illuminated by Lumen game. It's a pretty new set of games. There's a bunch of them over on itch.io. I think the original Lumen was made by Spencer Campbell, and a bunch of games have been spun off from that, but you should totally go check it out. Just search Lumen on itch.io and you'll see a ton of weird and neat little games out there. This weird and neat little game is about necromancers in space fighting unknowable and violent bird-like alien things. It's all very out there. So we've had a discussion about lines and veils and other safety tools. Dog is chewing a hole in her butt on the floor. We've gone through some introduction to the rules and some character creation, and we're just about ready here to introduce our characters. And then I will put them in the situation that we're going to start in. So I'm going to start with Donna. I saw you putting up stuff for your character first. If you would introduce yourself and your character.
Thanks, Patrick. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him, and I'll be playing Nevera Death Whisper, who is a seer. Yeah, I guess we know very little about the characters right now, but do you want me to fill in some details now, Patrick? Or will
yeah, tell me a little bit about how she looks and a little bit about what her seer abilities are.
Yeah, so I think she is a middle-aged woman, absurdly pale, with black hair, without even stars to break up the darkness of it. I think she has a reputation as being cold and analytical amongst our necromancers. And I think maybe she might be a little bit of a, I wouldn't say like golden child or whatever, but favored of high command in terms of her ability to figure things out or to see, not a future seer, but to see what's really going on in any situation. So I think maybe that's why she's being sent on this mission.
Nice. So is this like a military sort of high command, or is it for her knowledge? Or
yeah, I don't know what the nomenclature is here. Maybe it's like the inner coven is how we describe the leaders of our necromancers.
Okay, so you think you work for like the coven structure themselves?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. And yeah, tell us a little bit about what seer abilities look like. You don't have to list them out, but what are they in general?
Yeah, so I guess a lot of them are kind of typical seer or oracle abilities like psychomancy and that kind of stuff. There's some really interesting things in here about like getting power from your dead enemies. I can get 2 drop die instead of 1 if I kill an enemy, and then I can also use my own power to kind of boost my fellow necromancers. So that's kind of interesting.
Nice.
Take on the class. So yeah, but my favorite really, and I've ended up listing them all, I think, is the Banshee Screech and Going Ghost. So yeah, like not just a seer, but like a creepy witch thing.
Oh yeah, that is good combo. We'll come back around and hear about what equipment and NPCs you want to bring into this. But I'll keep going around the character keeper. So, Marianne, if you want to introduce yourself and your character.
Yeah. My personal name is Mariana, but I'm going to be playing Camilla Bloodworth. And my and her pronouns are she, her. So Camilla is a humoralist. So she knows about the four humors, and can do some like balancing of the humors of the people around her, but also what else can I do? I can bleed the people around me, or I can spit some acid. That's just one of the pleasures of working with Camilla. Yeah, I think I have a very long cape and like a hood, so I look very mysterious. And my cape is, the inside of it is full of like little bottles and like medical equipment for like
Nice.
removing some of the humors, and maybe also like changing them a little bit. And I also, so I have a very like hands-on approach to that, but I can also do that, make kind of changes in the humors with like kind of like magnetic and electronic gadgets, and I have lots of
Oh, cool.
things
Okay.
around that as well.
Nice. Tell us a little bit about Camilla's personality.
I think I'm generally like kind of trying to be helpful wherever I can, but I'm also I have a lot of scientific interest in all the things that I come across, and I'm always like looking for like nice ways to improve my my work in that regard. So that's why I really wanted to go on this mission, because
Nice.
I thought there would be like some nice dust and some nice ash here on this moon that I really wanted to examine.
Foresee a lot of sample taking into little jars and things.
Yeah, but I also thought this is going to be an important mission, so I'm not I don't want to be carrying all these and like thinking about like which plant to take with me and like do some like microscopic work and everything. So I brought my one of my pupils, one of my best pupils with me, who has wanted to learn the craft of the humoralism for a long time, and this is going to be like the first mission that I'm going to take her on. So
Okay,
she's going
cool.
to do the sample taking for me.
Do you have a name for her?
Oh, not yet.
That's fine. We'll come back to it. Cool. And so then was it this like scientific scholarly achievement? Is that why you got sent on this mission by the Coven, the ruling council of Hecate?
No,
Oh,
I personally really wanted to go, but I thought maybe I'm not the best fit. But I had I think that the team was already full, and they thought if we're going to be taking more people, that's going to be taking a lot of extra fuels and everything. So that's not what they wanted. But I had I had some bargaining chips because I was helping out a lot with the balancing the humors of the right people, which
so
made
trading a
them
lot of
very,
favors to get here.
yeah.
Nice. I like that. And Rod, if you would introduce yourself and your character.
Sure. Hi, I'm Rod, he, him. My character's name is Lemura Spinebreaker. And she is an osteomancer, so she's very well versed in making skeletons, and usually will have a skeletal servant with her. She comes from a military family, but she herself was not in the military. She came from a large family. She is the only daughter. All her other siblings were male, and all of them were killed in this war. So she has a very personal stake in it. She was chosen, she volunteered for this mission, and because of her family sacrifices, she was given consideration. She's very methodical, so she also gave a very convincing argument. And the superiors know that because she's lost so much in this war, that means something to her, that she'll put everything of herself into its success.
Nice.
Yeah.
What does
go ahead.
Lumera look like?
I'm not sure. I think I'll make her the youngest of the family.
Okay.
She is so she's somewhat young. We'll give her a white, like whitish hair, despite her young age. Personality-wise, I think she kind of has learned to navigate in whatever situation. So she'll adjust depending on who she's with to fit in, and try to work within the group dynamics.
Nice. And then tell us a little bit about what you can do with your osteomancy.
Right. So I think most of her family were, they were in the military, so they were more into, brute force and powerful magics, very direct. I think she had to find her own niche that way, and she thought there's a versatility in working with skeletons. You can command them to do different things, and you can shape bones into different ways, into tools. She has, I put as one of her disciplines as engineering. So she likes crafting bones into different structures.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
I like that. I like that a lot. Cool. So Donna, we'll come back around to you. Do you have an idea of what supplies or weapons you brought and who you brought to support you?
Yeah, I think because we know so little about the Corvid threat, there is maybe a large case or trunk of various paraphernalia for every kind of seeing under the sun, almost like an emergency supply of everything that we could throw together, just in case one of them might be useful or especially effective.
Every kind of ritual anyone could think
of. So a real smorgasbord of, we could set up an occult shop with this. And I think Nevera is looking for an excuse to kind of leave it behind because, in the dangerous situation that we're going to be in, we probably don't have time to be, rustling through this trunk. So, but I'm sure there might be something useful in there.
Thanks. And who did you bring along with you to support you?
Yeah, so I brought another seer called Agrash. I put an entry in the NPCs tab.
Nice.
I have put them as an expert in bellomancy and archery. Bellomancy is like seeing the casting features through shooting arrows.
Interesting.
It's a very interesting form of seeing. But I think maybe there might be some kind of thing to do with feathers in there as well, which could be why Nevera chose Agrash.
Nice. All right, so I gave her 5 health, and she'll have wells to do spells or necromantic things if she wants to, but if you need to check if she has one to heal herself, it'll be a simple D6, 1 to 3, nope, 4 to 6, yes.
Cool.
So, Mariana, we heard about all of your collecting and samples and jars of supplies. Is there anything else that you brought with you? And do you have a name for your unpaid intern?
Yeah, so my apprentice is called Agatha. She's carrying a lot of the of my things. Yeah, so I brought some things for Agatha to kind of look around and collect, but also that I have on me is little bottles of different different types of liquid. I know very well like which they all are. Sometimes I do forget to label them, but then I just kind of sniff and I know which one it was. They are some of them are really helpful for me, like when I need to do one of my humor changing things. Sometimes I need to like change my own humors a little bit. Then those are very helpful. Some of them are just to make me happy.
And she's your apprentice, so she would be a necromancer character as well, right?
Yes, but she's just named Agatha. She doesn't have a cool title yet.
that comes when you finish your apprenticeship. Well, cool. She'll work the same way. She has 5 health. She can do spells, but if she needs to check for a well for health, then you roll a d6. And if you want to find a picture for her, you can put her in the NPC tab. Otherwise, not. I have her name and stuff listed there. And Rod, supplies or weapons that you brought with you, and who did you bring to support you?
So I think for supplies, she has created like her own bone armor. You know, hopefully it'll give her some more protection. For who's coming with me, I think one of my dead brothers is coming with me.
Oh.
He is he's a skeleton, but he was not raised by me or any other necromancer. He kind of resurrected himself. It was the brother, you know, my elder brother just above me. So we were very close growing up, and he's come back because he knows that basically he's come back to protect me because he knows that this war is coming to our doorstep, and he's come back.
Nice. And do you have a name for him?
His name is Thrum Spinebreaker.
Amazing. And so I think as a self-resurrected skeleton, probably all of his necromancy is going into himself. So we won't make him as a necromancer, but I will give him 7 health, and he has that same rapier that you do. Nice. So we have the 6 of you. If you take a look quickly on the NPCs and Places tab, first of all, there's a picture of the central necropolis of Hecate, where all of you were gathered to, and Dulcinea of the Haruspice, something like that, is the member of the coven that called you together. She's explained that through the divinations of her and her fellow Haruspexes, they have seen that the Corvid are going to land an attack on Attila, or not Attila, Axia, one of the 2 moons of Hecate. And whereas Hecate is a strange, barren, warped world overflowing with necromantic energy. Axia has not only its own atmosphere, but lush and verdant life on it. It's much more like what you would expect a normal Earth-type planet to be like. You sort of think like the forest moon of Endor in Star Wars, a very like dense foresty sort of moon. There are a couple of disparate settlements on it, but no big cities like you have here on Hecate. They have seen the enemy coming in, and they have assigned you to travel up there on the Attila, which is a behemoth ship of the Hecate fleet. Hecate Hessians, they travel through space in giant living space creatures, these behemoths that they augment with necromancy and metal and circuitry to make this sort of hybrid techno-organic giant living ship that can live for centuries upon centuries, and Attila is the biggest and oldest of all of the behemoths in the fleet. They are captained by Captain Varia, who she is an unreasonably old necromancer, somewhere approaching 250 years. People aren't quite sure of when she was born, and she won't give any indication. But she is held alive very heavily by necromancy and a lot of steel bolts, and is covered with the scars of a life spent exploring every part of the system that one could get to. The quartermaster of the Attila is Tiberius. They're pretty new on the ship, but they are a flesh stitcher, a sort of medic necromancer who can also twist and change bodies, and their ability to heal and their ability to stay calm when things go crazy has seen them rise up through the ranks on the Attila quickly. There's also Titus, the navigator on the Attila, who is fairly young, fairly lax in discipline once you see him on the ship, from one of the important wealthy families who basically paid his way into a prestigious, but he sees it as cushy position as the navigator on this ship. So the six of you will be briefed on what little they know of the mission and sent to gather your support, gather your supplies, and board the Attila. Travel from Hecate to Axia will take about a day here in the Behemoth. They're not fast travel. But you'll have some time to explore the ship or explore the people on here. So we're going to go ahead and take a break here. We'll take about a 10-minute break and come back about 20 after the hour. But when we come back, be thinking of who on the ship you might want to have a scene with. It can be any of those 3 crew members that I listed out. It can be your NPC or one of the others NPCs, but come up with a scene of like how you're passing this day of travel. So everybody take 10, we'll be back. All right, so we're on the Behemoth ship Attila. You're all settled in for your sort of 24 hours of travel. It's a bit nerve-wracking just because you know what's on the other end, and this thing goes very slowly. But there's nothing you can do about that, so let's see how you pass the time and who you spend it with. During your scene, or after it, I want you to do some paint the scene description question for me, which I'll put here in the chat. But this behemoth has been alive and in service longer than any other in the fleet. What evidence of the passage of centuries do you see as you wander their corridors and arteries? And again, this can be a description that you call out in the middle of your scene, or when we get to the end of your scene. If you want to tell us separately what you saw, that's fine too. I'm going to stick with the same order for the moment. So we'll start with Donna. Who do you want to have a scene with?
I wonder if we can have a scene with the Captain Varia, unless someone else was thinking along those lines.
I love it. So you find the captain. She's actually in the sort of like crew mess area. She has her uniform jacket on technically, but it is unbuttoned all the way and rumpled and sort of half slung back. She's got her boots up on the table, and she is drinking something hot and steaming.
So, I mean, I think it's not that Nevara is like by the numbers, whatever, you know, it's not like she believes in this uniform code, but you know, how people present themselves is important to her. So, you know, I think she sits down and maybe, you know, glances at the soles of Captain Varia's boots. You know, you
Very
can tell
warm.
a lot from someone by how they take care of their shoes. I think this might be Navarra's opinion.
They're decently polished, not to the sort of like mirror uniform shine they should be, but the soles are very worn.
Yeah. And Patrick, when we're like in the mess, is it still like very obviously this kind of techno organic vessel, or is this kind of a little haven of normality?
Everything in here, well, for what normality is, but everything in here is that mixture. It will be like metal and computerized things built out of you know, muscle walls or directly into a bone structure, or you know, the mess itself is probably inside of a larger organ that you've come into. It's not like wet. It's not like it doesn't get stuff everywhere. The parts that you people wander around in are still kept fairly clean. But it's definitely humid, and you smell that like coppery blood metal tang in the air no matter where you go.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Navarra has a cup of whatever, you know, tea equivalent is standard in the canteen, right? You know, blows on it coyly to make it drinkable, and says, "Captain, your reputation, well, speaks for itself." And I'm just curious if you've had any inkling as to this enemy previously.
I've seen a lot in my years traveling around the system. Aliens are something new. I'll tell you. Sorry, give me just a sec. I've fought alongside the elementalists of Vibernius. You know, Vibernius was the planet closest to the sun, the first one that the Corvids attacked. She said, I've never seen people that could break and destroy things like those. fire they could make on that planet drawn straight from the sun was unbelievable. And as far as we can tell, their entire planet was glassed in under 3 hours. So no, I don't know what they are, but there's something dangerous.
That they are. I mean, maybe I just don't understand orbital mechanics, Captain, but it would seem to me if aliens came to our system, they might start at the outside, not in the inside.
Personally, that's what I would have done too. It certainly was a surprising tactic, and however they pulled it off worked to their advantage. Vibernius, well, imagine if they ever thought anything would be coming, they'd have a long way to see it coming all the way into their orbit. There's something about these Corvids, though. I know she sort of leans in to talk over her mug and gets a little quieter. Says, I know the Coven is very positive about the outcome of this mission, that they think because we can see what's coming, we'll definitely be able to change it. But I've got my own skill with throwing the bones, and I'm not so sure this is going to go as smoothly as they've said it will. But who knows? Maybe you and your companions, maybe you're the best necromancers I've ever seen, and you'll surprise me.
Here's hoping. I should say something, positive, like that's the plan, but I'm going to go with here's hoping. Might add a little bit of color from that question about the behemoth.
Yeah.
Patrick. I think the captain and the behemoth have been together for so long that they have a link, some kind of subconscious link between their moods and their state of mind. And so I think like when Varya leans in to kind of whisper that confidence, it's like the lights or the hum of the ship dim down as well, and that's just because of the length of time that they have been together.
That's very cool. I like that. She sort of gives you an up and down considering look. So, by all indications, things are going to get pretty messy and probably fairly bloody down there. You ready for that sort of action? You seen anything like that before?
I mean, I became a necromancer because I liked things being all clean and neat. Yeah.
Fair enough, fair enough. She looks around at, the exposed, sort of pulsing parts of the wall.
So I expect this will get very messy indeed. I'd like to say things will get worse before they get better.
Oh. Here's to the better end after the worst. She sort of raises a toast. And we'll come around to Camilla. So, who do you think Camilla is talking to here on the ship?
I would like to talk to Lamura, if that's okay.
Sure. So, Lamura, where does Camilla find you? Are you in your sort of quarters area, or are you somewhere else on the ship?
I am, can we say like there's a chamber around the heart, which serves as the engine room for the behemoth. So they can by controlling the heart, they actually have some control over how fast it goes,
Nice.
etc. So I'll probably be there just looking at the heart, this massive beating heart.
Yeah, there's very much this like huge structured room built up around it. There are a half dozen other crew members sort of moving around and doing stuff there. You see some people checking with the systems that are like the computer systems that are integrated into the heart, and you see two people going around that are obviously like checking and updating necromantic wards and sigils. So Camilla, you find Lamora there looking at the throbbing, pulsing inner workings of the heart. What do you say?
Yeah, I see Lamora from a distance, and I'm uh, I was kind of looking for her, but also I was looking at how amazing all this to be so close to so much blood and other. I see all the like the biles kind of flow through these arteries, and I'm kind of showing Agatha around. I think this was one of the things that we were most looking forward to on this trip, to see this behemoth from the inside. But also, so we kind of want to see like what are the nice things and the nice souvenirs that we can take, but we want to take those on the way back. So we're kind of like scoping out and seeing some spots where we can put a little scalpel in and fill a little bottle, and no one will know. But on the way back, we want our bottle. We want to travel a little light. So I think I want to talk to Lamura alone. So I'm sending Agatha away. I'm giving her some of the magnetic. They're kind of like spinning magnetic things. With like little lights that I'm giving her, so she can find some good things.
And is Agatha the sort of apprentice that she's like mousy quiet and constantly making notes of everything, or is she the sort that's like constantly asking you questions about everything you bring up?
I think she is. She would like to ask many questions, but she is, she is in awe of everything. This is like the first trip that I'm taking her on, so this is a big deal, and she wants to impress me and my impressive friends who I'm going to be traveling with. So she's keeping very quiet and doing exactly what she needs to do.
Yeah, I think there's this sort of like she gets cut off mid-question as you come around the corner and you see the massive structures around the heart. And as you're like trying to hand her the dials and send her off, she sort of like you have to snap her attention back to you, and she sort of fumbles the first magnetic tool as you give it to her. She very awkwardly, oh yes, and I need to check the levels of the. Yes, I'll get you the oh the readings. I'll be right back. She sort of scurries off, stopping every now and then to look at something glowing and strange.
Yeah, I think that is also the thing that I can how I see that this is very old behemoth is that some of the so usually the creatures that I come across, they just have the 4 biles, the four humors, but this is a type of humor that I it's the purple bile, and it's only it has pretty much only seen in creatures that have been very long have been very long dead, and this is one of the few that is still where I can still see it. So I definitely would like a sample of that. I was sending Agatha away so I can talk to Lamura alone, and I join her. Maybe there's like a railing where Lamura is looking at the heart, and I'm joining her there. I say, Lamura, I feel like I haven't seen you in centuries. You look so very sanguine today. You look great.
She'll turn around slowly. You, you as well.
I'm so excited to see you. I was so happy to hear that we would both be going on this mission together and that we would see each other. I feel like, when was the last time that we really had a chance to talk? Was that at the at your academy?
I think it was. You we didn't get to speak much, but I was thankful you were there. All my brothers, it was at the graduation, and my brother was there, brothers were there, and they kept each other company, but I'm glad I had someone to talk to as well.
I wanted to say that I'd always really appreciated your work and your mastery of the solid particles of organisms has always really impressed me, and I wanted you to know that. And I'm like grabbing your hands and like staring at you intently.
Thank you. If I had to do it again, you know, I might have chosen to be a humoralist.
Everyone says that. Everyone says that.
No, I mean it. You have a greater insight, I think, than most other necromancers, because you can see a larger picture.
That is true. That is true. But the picture is not always as solid and clear cut as your craft with the bones who form the whole structure of a person. It's really beautiful, and I think the solidness of the bones really brings some sort of strength and protection with it, which is what I wanted to talk to you about. Maybe you know my my pupil Agatha, who is this is her first mission, so I wanted to, and I'm like looking away at the. I find it hard to talk about, but you know how these missions can get sometimes, and it didn't sound very safe. And I know we're both professionals and we have everything under control, but just in the case that something does go wrong, please look out for Agatha as well.
I'll do what I can, but Camilla, I'll be honest, if something goes wrong, I don't think any of us are coming back.
I'm like staring into the distance, looking for Agatha in the crowd, thinking rethinking my decision to have brought her here, because it's very yeah, the gravity of the situation probably during this this travel really dawned on me.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so negative. Yeah, such negativity, it doesn't help. But I just wanted you to know that this will be a dangerous undertaking. I just hope we can succeed where others have failed.
I know we can. If any group can do it, it's us.
And she'll tighten her her grip on your hand when you say that.
Thanks. I feel like that's a good place to end that. I like that shot on the hands. So, Lemura, who do we see Lemura interacting with after that conversation with Camilla?
I think I'd like a scene with the quartermaster, Tiberius.
Tiberius, yeah.
A little more business, unless is there going to be a scene where like it's kind of like a mission breakdown, or
A bit, but you know, I think Tiberius is a great person to like sort of ask those questions of. They're very much more organized and protocol minded than the captain seems to be.
right. So then, yeah, I will try to track down Tiberius.
I think you find them on the bridge, while the captain is off getting some rest and refreshment. Tiberius is in charge up on the bridge.
Cool. Yeah, I can imagine like this. Maybe that we're traveling like I don't know, some kind of corridor, with the veins and things pulsing, and I have my brother following me, and then kind of opens up to this large bridge where you can see the brain of the creature, and I'll walk up to Tiberius. May I have a moment?
Necromancer. Yes. Titus. And she sort of snaps at the navigator, who seems to be playing with a deck of cards at his station rather than looking at where they're going. Says, pay attention to what's happening. You have the bridge for a few moments. Please, Necromancer Spinebreaker, follow me this way. And they'll lead you off to a side room with a desk that they sit behind and a couple of chairs. They indicate you can sit.
You are probably aware of my reputation. I like to be prepared. I just was hoping you could give me some further insight into the mission and what we are trying to ultimately get done.
I made sure to read up on all of your backgrounds before you came on the ship. I have some hope for this mission. Ideally, as Dulcinea and the Haruspice has laid out, this will be an information gathering mission. We are scheduled to be in the right place at the right time around the orbit of Axia to see the approach of the enemy, where most attacks have come without warning from them. We'll have a chance to study them before they can get in range of the moon. And if they should choose to try and test their strength against the Attila, the ship has taken down much worse and more dangerous than a simple ship of the Corvid.
Are we certain they're sending only one?
That is all that has been seen. Ideally, we'll be able to capture or board their ship, which is where the 6 of you will come in. There may be more personal combat than my crew can handle. Most of them will be needed to keep the Attila running. And any information or insight that your expertises can bring to the situation would be invaluable to the Coven.
Are any of the crew coming with us, or is it just the 6?
It'll be just the 6 of you. Like I said, the crew is needed to keep the Attila running, and we can of course support you if you need, but this is the mission that you have been granted. Ours is just to take you to it.
Of course. Have you heard any stories of our enemy?
Mostly rumors. Mostly exaggerations and observations from far away. Sorry, speaking real
That's
quick.
okay.
I did speak to several of the healers of Gracia who managed to make it to Hecate. They were off planet doing some work in the asteroid belt when the Corvids hit their planet. Mostly water, you know, oceans, the whole planet. Just a few spots of island rings and atolls that people live on. More water than Hecate has seen in the last billion years. They described the oceans boiling away. The Corvids released some sort of bomb from their ship, some weapon that heated 3/4 of the planet's oceans, steam into clouds, into toxic rain. It will be centuries, if ever, before that planet comes back. And the healers, well, the healers were an important resource for everyone.
So yeah, so Lemura will just kind of sit back and look thoughtful, try not to let her dismay be evident.
And Tiberius will straighten their spine and say, but of course we have the predictions of the Coven. We don't need to worry about any of that. They've seen that if we play our cards right and make an aggressive front at them, then we won't have any problems in this scenario. You get the information that you need, maybe even get a victory over them. Bring information and hope back to the planet. That's what we're here for.
And justice, hopefully, ultimately.
I don't know what justice looks like for that many people, but you know, this ship may be a good start.
Well, I thank you for your time. And she'll stand up and let herself out.
Thank you. Make sure to be back on the bridge in 3 hours for the briefing as we approach orbit. So we will sort of go forward to 3 hours later, when the captain has scheduled all 6 of you to be on the bridge. It'll be close to when it'll be like approaching the orbit of Axia. And the 6 of you are there. The captain is in her seat. Tiberius is in the seat next to her. And you see that navigator, Titus, up at his station. Again, not paying very much attention. If you happen to look over, you may catch a flash of a flask going up every now and then. But the captain's there. She's saying, look, this is supposed to be a fairly straightforward operation. Scare them. If we get a chance to damage them, damage them. If we get a chance to take a piece of them, take it. If we get a chance to board them, we board them and we kill them all. But I don't want you to think just because the Coven has laid out some glorious plan of victory that everything will necessarily go right. We need to be prepared for any eventuality. We need to be prepared for any twist. We don't know what these Corvid are bringing. Now, is there anything that I can do to help any of you prepare for this?
Not from my point of view, but I think you'll notice Nivera look nervously at our navigator as if this, her thought process is, you could get that guy into London for one, but she's not going to say that.
As you look over at him, why don't you make me a check? Probably Bone. I think this is seeing something.
Okay.
Understanding something.
So I'll just roll 3d6, right? That's a 4. It's my highest result, right?
So a 4 means that you notice when he sort of picks up his flask from where it's sitting on the counter there. You see a light, a red flashing light, which seems like something that should catch your attention. And as you think about it, you figure out what it is at just about the same time that a sort of shrill whistling alarm starts pulsing over the bridge, and you're turning to tell the captain that there's a radar contact at the same time that Varia is diving towards her sort of screen that's set in her chair there and yelling, "Where did that contact come from? Ship on the radar. Titus, what the hell are you doing up there?" And as Titus fumbles, what there wasn't anything about, I don't know where it came from. I was watching. I was watching the whole time. And Varia starts yelling orders to Tiberius and a couple of the other crew members to start changing their trajectory to try and get Axie and the moon between you and this ship. You hear Tiberius saying that this thing is moving faster than we were anticipated. This is more than any of the readings that we've gotten from any of the planets. And as the behemoth starts to slowly lumber, not good at changing directions, this big thing, to the side, there is a blindingly bright flash off on the horizon of the view screen. More alarms go off, and there is a thud and a camera shaking impact as Tiberius calls out, "Shot fired from the enemy ship, straight through the midsection. Attila's propulsion systems are down. We're heading towards the planet." There's a lot of crazed activity. There's a lot of yelling, and the ship is on its way towards crashing into the planet. I'll say as a sort of like meta look at the situation, the ship is going down. It's been shot through the middle. But there are things that can be done to mitigate it. The captain and Tiberius seem very confident and capable. A lot of the rest of the crew is sort of freaking out. There is massive damage to the Attila, but the Attila is at least half organic, and all of you have various necromantic abilities that may be able to help with that. So I think by default, the Attila is going to crash onto the planet. The three of you and Varia are going to be the only survivors, and the Attila will be bleeding out and on the verge of death. So we have 3 things to consider here. We have the life of the Attila, like what sort of shape it's going to be when it hits. We have the survival of the crew to think about, and we have the survival of your companions to think about. You'll each get a chance to describe some action. We'll probably throw a roll in there to see how it goes, and we'll see what situation you land on the planet in. So, in the midst of chaos and panic and bleeding and space ruptures and alarms and lights and all sorts of things, we'll come around in the same order. Donna, what do you do in this emergency situation?
I think my abilities here are probably more along the lines of managing the crew. So if Varia and the kind of command staff are looking after the kind of immediate dangers or control of the ship, I'm going to make sure that the crew are like, bracing for impact, or maybe spotting someone who is a cool head and knows all of the crash procedures that they only practice once, right back in basic training or something like that.
Nice.
I wonder if Willing Spirit is a spell that might help me in that regard, to kind of spot the very useful person in the crew.
Yes, that'll be perfect to help you find someone. And do you think this is this like an action of? Sorry, let me rephrase. Are you approaching this in a sort of like mundane way? You're trying to get this person calm and get them to follow the structures? Are you using any of your like spirit magic to try and push on people or their minds or emotions?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of those abilities are really.
Well, I mean, we don't have to use just the spells. We have some time where you could do some more freeform necromancy if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I'm just using like I'm guessing, right, that we've been on the ship for a while now, and rumors have spread. The scuttlebutt is such and such. They know I'm a seer. So when I tell them something, they must take it with some extra weight, right? Because I know exactly what will work, even if that is not what is happening. That is how they may react to it.
Nice. Let's see. I feel like this could be muscle or bone. This could be bold action, or this could be diplomatic, methodical action. How do you think Navira is approaching this?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence on this one myself. I mean, I think I'm trying to be calm, right? I'm trying to like get them to follow the procedures. So I might lean towards bone, but I could definitely see muscle.
I feel like that's bone. Let's see. I don't know if arcane knowledge is necessarily helping here.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Remember, you always have the chance to add another discipline if you want, but if
Yeah,
not, it would be.
I don't even know what that would be in this list. So
Again, you can write your own, and it could be something like social dynamics or command structure or things like that. Or you can go with it. You'll have your bone dice. You can also spend a well for +2 dice if you want.
okay. Yeah. And does that spill willing spirit get any benefit, or is that just some background color for us?
It's not going to be a mechanical benefit, but I'll say what it does for you is that you immediately spot someone else on the bridge at like a side station who is just staring death at Titus, and you get this, like, you can just almost hear the words of, I could do everything better than that idiot. And you know that they would be someone much more competent on the navigation than panic drunk Titus. So that's the person you approach, and let's have a roll to see how it goes from that.
Okay, so I'm going to spend a well, because I guess this is like saving the crew is kind of important. Like 20 odd people, so I will spend a well to get an extra 2 dice, right?
Yep.
Okay, a 5, I guess, not too bad.
5. So you have a choice of success with a consequence or failure with no consequence.
Yeah, I will take that consequence.
I think the consequence is that Titus is incredibly belligerent when you try and get him up out of this. No, this is my station. My family got me into this position. This is my job, and I'm on duty right now. There's no way I'm letting that junior officer lieutenant just come in here and no, you'll have to drag me out of this chair, and you have to drag him out of that chair. So go ahead and take 1 harm as he gets a punch in while you're dragging him out of the way.
I mean, I'll say it'll be flavor, obviously. I don't know how it'll work in fiction, but I think his family will obviously make it their mission to make me pay right in future, whether he survives or not.
Oh yeah, he remembers your name.
Yeah, so I think I grab him like by the ear or by the scruff of the neck or something like really demeaning.
And I think as you drag him off, that other officer, she sits down into the navigation. She starts actually implementing the things that Varia and Tiberius are yelling out, rather than just drunkenly arguing with them. And as the horrible camera shake of the ship starts to settle down a little bit, you see a couple of the other younger officers on the bridge. They start to like pick up this sense of not calm but control over the situation, and you hear one of the younger officers to the side. He's pulled up the comms for the ship, and he starts calmly calling out like emergency instructions, where people are to go. Like the several of the alarms get cut down finally, so it's not so screeching and horrible, and some sense of order starts to come over the crew. Lovely. Camilla, what do you think you can do to help in this disaster?
Yeah, the first thing I'm doing when the alarms start blaring is look at Agatha and where she is. And Agatha is has no concern for her own safety. She is trying to patch some sort of hole in an artery because she wants to save Attila.
Yeah, and you can see like there's scalding necromantic energy pulsing out of this vein along with the blood. She's called, who's the other one? Agrat over to help her. And I think Thrum, amazing. Thrum is very much getting tossed about and in danger of just shattering on some corner somewhere through here.
I say, Akata, stop that! You need to be safe. You need to hide. Everything is shaking. You need to come here and stop doing what you're doing. It doesn't matter. This creature is so old. They've had the most of their life. It's just gone. You need to be safe.
We can't lose something like this. It's too important. It's too important to science. It's too important to the continuation of our Hessian lifeline. We have to save it. Think of just the oldest thing on our entire planet. Just think about it. Like, she is panicking and full into it, and you can see like she's gonna make a mistake here. She's gonna get hurt.
Yeah. I like roll my eyes. I like, now I have to save this Attila thing. I just wanted to be safe, and it seemed all like fixed, and it's just like unfortunate that all this like blood is spilling out. But I will do it to help my my apprentice.
So you go from trying to talk her out of it into trying to get it done right.
Yeah, I see it like she is like maybe like using her own blood to like help to make some sort of transfer and like stop this this hole and the blood from leaking out using all her energy. I cannot have that because this is not going to be the most stressful situation that we're going to be in. She needs to save her energy. So yeah,
so what do you do to help?
I'm going to first push her out of the way because she's not helping. Then I'm going to. I studied a lot of of these creatures, of the behemoths, and their medical, the network of their arteries and their nervous system and their muscles. So I kind of know like which parts I can kind of cut off and use to patch the large hole in the artery that is kind of spilling blood everywhere. So I'm taking my yeah, I think I'm taking my sword, and I'm using cutting off a piece of muscle of one of the walls here, and I use my blood powers to kind of merge the flesh in the arteries and kind of stitch it like that.
So again, this sounds to me like a bone, a studied action, something intelligently doing here. But do you think do you want to argue for a different approach?
Yeah.
I'll say either way. I think you're very close. If you describe like pulling out some jars of stuff from your coat, I think you could definitely use your alchemy discipline to at least get you a bonus die to whatever you're doing.
Oh, mm-hmm. I was going to argue for medicine because I studied the how do you say,
Oh.
like the internal structures of this of the behemoth.
That's perfect. I love that as a discipline.
Yeah. So I think I was going to go for muscle because it was like a bold action to like push her out of the way, and it was like in a moment. I didn't have much time to think, and it was because I knew this this medicine beforehand. I was that was
Okay.
why I could do this bold action.
I like that. And yeah, you like pick her up bodily and move her out of the way. You sort of tumble her to the ground. She squeaks and complains. But you go in and make your cut. You have 5 dice, I think, at the moment. And you could always spend a well for 2 more.
I'm going to go with 5.
All right.
4 is the highest.
All right. So, I suppose I asked you. You could either succeed with a consequence, or fail with no consequence. Although I guess the consequence here would be the people. So failing would probably not be good for your companions.
Okay. So succeeding with a consequence. Yeah, I think I'm going with that.
All right, so you slash and start pouring your blood over this wound, and the wound starts to seal over, but there is a surge of necromantic energy that hits through that conduit as you're closing it up, and a spray of like superheated blood splashes over you and Agatha. I think you'll take 2 damage, and she'll take 1 because she's a little. You've managed to throw her a little further away. But as you get like burns up and down your arm there, but you do manage to seal it over. The lights, which have been going sort of crazy here on the bridge, stabilize, and it's not like things are fixed, but again, there's a noticeable, like, it's a little smoother. You're heading still straight down towards the moon, but on a nice, like, smooth descent path. You don't have to worry about shaking around as much. The camera's all still down. So lovely. Lemura, this behemoth is still out of control and going to, like, on death's door. If it crashes without any more control or fixing, like, it will die on impact.
So I guess there's 2 things I want to do. One minor
Yeah.
and one major, and you can tell me if I can do both or not.
Okay.
If we can see, like, maybe there are some skeletons that serve on the bridge, to assist the crew that were damaged. I'm just gonna kind of have them dismantle and form like new legs for Thrum so that he gets more stabilized.
Get like a quadruped Thrum.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. Yeah. I think that's pretty easy for you to do.
Cool. Then I also wanted to somehow reinforce the bridge or the skull of Attila, so that, well, one, to protect us, but also to protect the behemoth when it hits. I mean, at least if we can protect its brain,
Yeah, I
it
like
might
that.
be something. Yeah.
You know, we had that description of like part of the brain is exposed here on the bridge and has computer systems tied into it. So the skull and you know the sort of like some of the spinal structure is there easily for you to get in contact with and start to reinforce. And yeah, while there's going to be a lot of damage to the body by crashing into this planet, but I like the sort of helmet idea of like protecting the brain and the core life of the behemoth here.
I do have one other priority, which I don't have to take an action for, but I do want to, if I can, try to make sure Tiberius survives. Because if she survives, that, or if they've survived, then they can help heal other people. But so yeah, so I do want to try to reinforce the bridge skull area.
All right. So I think just to lay it out, if you get a 6 on this roll, you can achieve both, reinforcing the skull and making sure that Tiberius makes it through this all right. But if there's a consequence, it's going to be a choice between the two. So this feels appropriately like bone.
Right, right. That's good. And there's a way to add more dice, which I've forgotten.
There's your disciplines. I think we could definitely pull in engineering, since you're dealing with the central structures here of the behemoth. So that'll give you 1 die. And if you wanted, you could spend a well for 2 more dice on top of that.
Yeah, I think I will. So 1, 2, 3. Should give me 7 dice. I hope that works. One, two. Yes. I got 1 6.
Nice. So yeah, tell me what your necromancy looks like as you reinforce the Attila and what you do to protect Tiberius.
Right. So yeah, I just kind of like go on my knee onto the floor. I really just need to touch any part of the skull that's exposed. You know, I actually kind of like the idea of there's like a wall of flesh or whatever, of soft organ that I have to kind of push my hands through to touch the bone.
Yes, that is juicy and wonderful.
And then I just gotta pour energy into the bone so that it glows white and is somehow strengthened.
Oh, nice.
Specifically with Tiberius, I see her fall. I order Thrum to protect her, so that
you sort of like bone cage around her.
Yeah, like
Or
his thing opens up, his cage opens up, and he kind of puts her in.
Nice.
So
I love it. Okay, so with this sort of ethereal white glow coming off of that back wall where the cranium is, the ship comes down, it starts touching the top of the tree line. There is the crashing sounds, noises, the shaky cam starts back up again. But there's just enough control to sort of skid along the tops of the trees for a while and ram smoothly into the dirt, sort of making a big hillock of pushed up earth in front of the Attila rather than just, you know, nosing straight down into the ground. It is rough. There are screams. There are people bouncing around. There are injuries and a couple of deaths among the crew, no matter what precautions you made. The systems short out, and the only light that's left here on the bridge is the white glow from the skull, that's leaking out the last of its necromantic energy. But you do hear the pulse of the Attila under your feet. It's weak, um, but it's there. Tiberius and Captain Varia are there. The captain has got another new scar for her collection, and Tiberius is very angrily demanding that they be let out of this monstrosity right now. And your three companions have made it through, bruised but intact. I think we're going to take another break here. Let's take 7 minutes and come back at 30 after the hour. And then, just given our time, when we come back, I think I'm going to fast forward us a little bit, and we'll try and get into some of the fighting parts of this to see that part of the system. Sound good? Okay, so you have crashed. Things are sort of disastery post-crashish, but you have most of the crew up and able to move, even if they are battered and injured. And Tiberius starts ordering them around to see what they can do about repairs or getting armaments ready, because above you, darkening the skies, you see that Corvid ship in orbit. It seems to be flying a little ways past you, but it has launched. You can see a couple of drop ships that are coming down. And Captain Varia stalks over to where Titus is curled up against a bulkhead, holding his like arm, where he's got a big like slash in his arm, to his chest to try and stop the bleeding. And she growls at him to give me that. You might at least be of some use during all of this. She grabs his arm and twists it so that blood starts flowing out of the wound, as she lets it spill over a handful of bones, knuckle bones, in her palm, that once they're soaked in the blood, she throws them on the ground and starts muttering, her eyes glowing a faint blue, as you recognize that she's doing haruspicy, she's doing casting. So as you gather yourselves together, it takes her a few minutes, and she says, look, things aren't good here, but I see a settlement nearby, settlement that their crows are landing at. I think they're going to wipe everyone out there. I need the 6 of you to get there, protect the settlement if you can, but at the very least, hold up the Corvids. We need time to prepare the Attila. We can't handle things right now. So you have to get there, you have to stall them for as long as you can. Understand? There is, like she said, a town, a settlement nearby. It's the town of Dracot. And you have sort of, as she lays out a sketch of the general area, I think in this pool of blood on the deck here, she starts drawing sort of an outline of the area. She sees two places where you have the best chance at fighting them. One is in the center of the town. There is a theater. It's a big structure, but it's empty and far enough away from most of the homes in the town that you could manage. If you could manage to draw them there, you might be able to protect people. It'll be easier to draw them there because she knows that they're heading straight for the town center. But with people around, it'll be dicey what happens to them. Could, however, go on the outskirts of town. There's an abandoned temple. It's not directly where the Corvid are heading, so you'll have to make some sort of big middle finger display to draw them to you. But if anything goes wrong in the battle, then they'll be much further away from the people of the town. So discuss amongst yourselves how you would like to approach this.
I think we need to act quickly. I think we need to go to the theater.
Do you think we could maybe send a runner ahead to warn them to evacuate? Either so that if our ruse to draw them into the temple, or if the fight happens in the theater, we'll reduce the possibility of damage spilling over.
No one's really going to get to the town before you unless you send someone to the town while you go to the temple. But you do have your companion NPCs, and you could task them with things like trying to gather up or evacuate the townspeople while you do a different part of the plan.
Does Camilla maybe want to send Agatha, out of the danger to help to start evacuating?
Yeah, I think Camilla had been looking for an excuse ship or something, but then she was already yeah, it wasn't that didn't seem like a great possibility to be in a dying ship. So yeah, that sounds great. Agatha is really good at evacuating people. She's also a fast runner.
So I heard Camilla vote for the theater. What do the other two of you think?
I'm on the fence. I think I might, if I were to think about which way I'd fall off the fence, it'd be towards the temple, but only just. What does Lemur think?
Add a character. How does the Bellomancy work? I mean, would that be able to assist us?
Yeah, I've got a couple of ideas for how we could draw them into the temple, which is kind of the main kind of challenge of that plan, right? Is to find a way to distract them. So yeah, I have a couple of ideas of what we could do there.
Right. Yeah, I think she would probably lean towards the temple as far as that's the best chance for the people, not necessarily the best chance for us. But
do we know who the temple is for? We really are not in the position that we should anger any gods right now.
It is a necromantic temple, sort of the religion of Hecate. It's a mixture of like sort of high church ceremonies and like ancestor spirit worship. And it's aside from all of the danger and disaster, it's really upsetting culturally speaking to all of you that this temple should be abandoned and unused. You don't know what these people are thinking up here or what sort of deviant life ways they've gotten into. So not directly a god you'd be pissing off, but it falls within your belief structure. So however you want to believe about holy ground or the church or the temple, it's up to you.
I think Camilla is very concerned with like the living and the bodily fluids of the living, so that everything that has to do with the dead and the people who are have already passed on and are brought back to life, or anything that is really alien to her, and she leaves that to other people, but she doesn't want to mess with like a holy place that is surrounded around that. I think she could be convinced if someone else who has more experience with the dead, like who has her dead brother with her.
Right. So yes, the temple, if the gods exist, they will help protect both the temple and us. If they don't, then it doesn't matter.
That is true. If you say so, Lemura.
I do.
Nice. So, you pack up, you head out of the ship. You're sending Agatha towards the town. And I assume Thrum would be coming with y'all. What about Agrat?
Yeah, I think Agrad is going to come with us. So I've got two ideas for like how to steer them towards us in the temple instead of towards the plan. One would be maybe I can use what little we know about the Corvid, or maybe a little bit of seeing, to kind of concoct some religious symbols which might make them a little bit nervous about crossing a line. So some ritual objects on the ground or on poles or something, just as a kind of a warding psychological measure to make them maybe try to go around it and therefore end up closer to the temple. And then the second one is to have Agrat, shoot some arrows with, maybe whistles on them, or maybe very particular feathers, which maybe look like crow's feathers or something like that, as a taunt.
Yeah, I think probably you can work a little of both of that. You know that they often have crows and birds, like sort of normal shaped ones, emblazoned on their armor or as designs and stuff. So if you think along the lines of like putting up warning signs of like either dead birds or bird skeletons that you make out of other bones, as sort of a thing that you might think might turn them. And then I feel like either some sort of like bone construct or like little spirit bomb or something on the arrow would be a great way to start calling attention towards you.
Yeah. So maybe like the kind of perimeter ward is something like, on a stake there's like a skull of a bird, and then maybe some bones hanging down on a string, such that we would use for knuckle bones, or something from my chest of paraphernalia that we mentioned at the very start. So just a motley warding, and then some kind of alchemical bomb or something like that, worked into the arrows to make them get their attention and look like a real threat.
Nice. So I don't think we'll have roles for this setup, but you're working on that. You're getting these like warning skeletons signed up. You're working on the arrows. Lemura, what are you doing to prepare the temple or the battle site or to get ready for this?
Right. So let's see. I'm gonna see what's there at the temple that we can use. If there's a graveyard, maybe. If there's vantage points, house.
So if you look in the character keeper add a tab called Abandoned Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Which again is a rough sort of area. We don't need to worry about distances or exactly where you are, but it can give us some references for imagining where you are. But I think if you look in the upper right there at 6, that is definitely a graveyard there.
Right. What is that semicircle at the very bottom? Oh, is that just the?
Oh, that's just like a title. Yeah.
Okay. One, 4. Right. Do we want to lure them into the graveyard? I can cast. Lost it. Field of Bones.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see the thriller horror trope of arms reaching out of the graves, working for the heroes for once.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And it also actually seems like a good way to deal with Camilla's concerns if you're not going to be necessarily desecrating the temple itself.
Right.
So yeah, you're going around and preparing the bones, getting to know the residents of this graveyard a little.
Is it looks like I can only animate one skeleton at a time. Is that correct? Or can I empower that? Or
you can empower that. So if you wanted to spend extra wells, you could bring up 2 or 3 skeletons.
Right. Okay. Man, I don't know how we're going to survive this.
You want to go ahead and spend wells and bring up some skeletons?
Yeah, I do. I do have the passive. Wait, no, I don't. Yeah, passive bone bitch. First time you raise a skeleton doing a round doesn't require burning a well, and skeletons you control have 2 additional health.
Nice.
So
so yeah, if you spent
right.
2 wells, you could bring up 3 skeletons.
All right, I'll do that. And they all have the +2 health?
Yes.
Cool.
And Camilla, what are you doing to prepare?
So one thing I'm doing is very nervously going through some of my bottles and like sniffing some and like drinking some that keep me calm a little because I'm really feeling the anxiety right now. Another thing that I'm doing, I think, is preparing a spell that I have that is red humors, and that is one target within range gains 1 health now and 1 health at the beginning of each round for the next 2 rounds. So I'm thinking I should probably do that when the Corvids come here to like a close target. So I'm kind of looking at I think I'm like looking for a strategic position to do that, to like support my allies, but also get some spit acid ready. I think I drink like some of my bottles that I have with me are to kind of get my my spit acid going. So I'm looking for a strategic place to like be able to do that.
I think
Gonna
you
get
find a
them
good solid looking mausoleum here in the graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
And you could choose to either like hide behind it or you could get on top of it if you wanted.
Yeah, I'm because I'm also very good at sneaking in the shadows. Um, Sanguine Skulk. So I'm like looking for one of the, maybe it's one of those fake pillars that are not really pillars, but they're like carved into the mausoleum. I'm kind of standing kind of on the next to the wall, next to those. That kind of the shadow falls over me.
Nice, nice. We see you just sort of blend almost completely out of sight there. All right. So y'all are getting ready. The arrow bombs are going off above you, and you can hear strange, twisted squawks and calls, sort of way too big for any bird body that you've ever heard before, and twisted and strange on top of that, moving through the trees, coming towards you. And I think the first indication you'll get of them is there is a sort of like bright green flash and a couple of laser bursts come in and hit some of the gravestones near several of you, and you look, and coming in, I think coming along like through the trees and along that upper road to the left of 6, they're coming in that way. You see, let's see, 3 crows, a jay, 2 basic bots, and a laser bot. And if you want to look over on the enemies tab, you can get sort of a sense of what those look like. But the laser fire is coming from that laser bot that is flapping and glowing near the jay, who is also hanging towards the back, as the 3 crows and the 2 basic bot little bird things, basically a handgun with wings, come rushing towards the graveyard. The crows, oh, all of these corvid, and it's a weird cultural point of Hecate and the Operator system, but like especially with the necromancers, melee weapons are the thing. You want to be up close and personal and able to use your magic, and these inelegant, uncouth, slug-throwing chemical reaction tubes with little rocks in them. It's awful. It's the worst. It's the tackiest thing. But you see that jay in the back setting up a sniper rifle, and you see pistols in the hands of the crows as they come rushing towards you. So we're going to go into our first round of combat. The 3 of you can decide amongst yourselves what order you want to go in. But once the 3 of you have gone, we'll move on to the enemies taking a turn. So we can discuss a little meta strategy, or if someone has a good plan, decide who's going first.
I am wondering if we want to hit them hard straight out of the gate. And I'm looking at Banshee Screech, which has range close to mid. So I could hit every enemy within that range band for damage, and then they fall prone, and when they're prone, they take 1 extra damage from all spells and weapons. So like a 1-2 hit.
And I think to sort of lay out the ranges, the laser bot and the jay are hanging back at far range at the moment, but the crows and the basic bots have rushed forward to mid range.
And do we get a sense that this is just like a first wave, or is this
You hear many more calls
Yeah.
out in the trees. You see flashes of energy light, that sort of thing.
So what do you think? Does that sound like a good place to start, or
Lead off with a battle call.
What's the range again for your banshee call?
short mid?
Short mid. I'm worried about those far range people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm willing to go with your plan. That's fine.
I mean, the other possibility is to like leave that as a strategic surprise for when they like send in the second wave and they're about to overwhelm us, and then just to pull that trigger then.
I mean, you got 5 of them that you could catch in a range. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, what does it look like as Navira lets out her banshee wail?
Yeah, I think maybe that you said they're coming through kind of the perimeter fence or wall just to the left of that graveyard. So I think if I'm standing like on the steps of the temple, I can kind of see them. Maybe I'm not quite skulking in the shadows like Camilla is, but I'm kind of.
Oh, I got you. So you're gonna try and catch them a little bit from the side there.
Yeah. And then I think I have a few like spare feathers or maybe bird skulls, and like I'm kind of holding them up in my hands and making the incantation and then like crushing them to dust and then just leaving out that banshee scream.
Nice. You're hanging back at mid range. You could move up to close range with the crows if you wanted to.
I mean, I do I hit everyone in close and mid, or am I choosing one of those ranges?
I think it's both. You hit
Okay.
all the enemies in both.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm kind of hanging back. I don't quite want to get into a scrap yet.
All right. So you spend at least 1 well to activate the spell. You could spend extra wells to push it if you want.
Yeah, I think it might be worth pushing to do 2 damage, because then we really take those crows down a notch, and we maybe even do some serious damage to some of the others.
Nice. So you spend that.
So spend 2 wells.
Crush the skulls. You send out your shriek. And first thing you see is those 2 basic bots that are like circling above the crow's heads. Like you see electricity and sparks shoot off of them. They rattle audibly and just like pop apart into all these component parts that come raining down on the heads of the crows. So you have blown up both of those basic bots. But they are non-organic, so they don't drop anything. And you've done 2 out of 3 damage to all 3 of those crows. You still have an action you could do if you wanted to. You have a move you can do if you wanted to. And of course, any more spells are free actions unless they say otherwise.
Yeah, so they're all prone now, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's right too. They fall down on the ground. They're shrieking in their alien calls and like holding on to the sides of their heads.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna kind of stride up to kind of one of the nearer crows who is flailing on the ground, and I have a spear as my weapon. I imagine it's like a gay balda, you know, like a barbed spear with like a wicked head. And yeah, I think I just kind of step up onto one of their wings and drive the spear coldly and efficiently through it and into the ground.
All right. It sounds like it could either be muscle or bone. Muscle is the more common for this sort of up close fighting, but if you're really taking the time to try and find a vulnerable point to stab into, it could be bone.
I mean, I think it sounds like muscle to me.
All right, make me a roll.
So I'm rolling 2 dice.
Remember, you can also spend a well for extra dice if you want.
Six.
Nice. You step on this thing's wing, which brings its attention out of its sort of shock directly on you, and you see its other limb, like lightning fast, reaching out for the gun that's laying on the ground there. But right as it's trying to bring it up and fire at you, you stab through it, and you will take out that crow. So if you want to roll 1d6 for a drop on that.
So I have this Juicy Spirits passive spell. If I kill an organic enemy, I roll 2 enemy drop dice for them.
Lovely. Roll 2d6 then.
Snake eyes.
Oh no, not a lot of deep spiritual energy in this one, but you can feel it. It's alien. It's almost there. It'll just take you a little adjustment to pick it up. So yeah, Lamora and Camilla, you hear this bone-shaking wail come from nearer to the church. You see that happen, and then you see Navira come leaping out of the underbrush to stab one of the crows through. Which one of you wants to go next?
I can go next.
Go for it.
I think on the ship I was already warned for Navira's screeching, so I was prepared, but it was even more terrible than I had imagined, and even my like hands that I had put on my ears because I know this was coming, it didn't help so much. Yeah, so I was thinking. So what was the where are the crows and everything?
Yeah,
standing up?
so
I'm considering whether I should bleed some of them dry.
Yeah, the 2 bots are blown up, and one of the crows is dead. The other 2 crows are prone on the ground. They are at mid distance from you. They're right up next to Navira. And the J and the laser bot are at far distance from you.
I'm going to go for the 2 crows then, and I'm going to bleed them dry.
Nice. What's that
do? Yeah, so they you bleed 2 organic enemies within range. They each take 2 damage now, and that much damage at the beginning of each round for the next 2 rounds. So what that looks like is I had I think I light a little candle, and then I whisper a little spell in it, and then I blow out the candle, and at that moment the blood in these crows is behaving in the way that I want, and I want it all to collect in a certain point in their like in their necks, and then burst out. So suddenly you see these 2 crows like burst out blood from their necks.
Yeah, you move up closer to them. It's a close spell, right?
It's close or mid.
Oh, so do you hang back where you are then?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you're hidden in the shadows. Like they don't even have a chance to see it coming as you whisper and blow out the candle, and we just hear this like amplified of air come out of your mouth as the two of them on the ground go from holding their heads to holding their necks and twitching, and then there's just this geyser of purple blood that comes just shooting out of them. Way too much pressure comes flying out of their neck. Spend a well, and that will take care of the other two crows. And if you want to roll a drop die for each of them.
Sorry, what was the drop die again?
Just 1d6 for each of them. So 2d6. And tell me the individual numbers.
One and four.
All right, so nothing from one of them, but 2 points of health from the other one, which can go to any of y'all. I think you're 2 down, aren't you?
I will take
Camilla?
those, yeah.
Yeah, so you can, as their blood comes boiling out, you suck some of that life energy back into you. It feels alien and weirdly purple, but it works. That was a spell. You have a move and an action, or any other spells that you want to do?
So this one takes an action, so I don't have that.
Oh, gotcha. And so you still want to stay there where you are?
Yeah, I think maybe I'm like walking to a different pillar because maybe they saw like a flickering of the candle, but I'm doing like a sniper move. I'm like changing my position.
Love it. Yeah. So there's just like brief glimmers of you in between the gravestones before you find your new spot. And again, we see that effect of like the shadows just seem to come up around you, and there's almost nothing of you left. Lamura.
So me, the 3 skeletons, and Thrum will charge at the far-ranged opponents.
Gotcha. So the Thrum and the skeletons can use a move and an action to get up right around them, menacing them. It would take you a move and an action to get up into close range with them, which would still leave you able to do spells. Or if you hang back and do mid-range spells, you could do that too.
No, I'm gonna go with them and go into close range.
Okay.
Oh well. Oh gosh. So if they get into close range, they're not gonna be able to attack, correct?
Correct.
But I could go halfway and then cast a spell. That might be wiser. I don't really have any long
And
distance.
just to give you a sort of meta view in, both the laser bot and the J, they have long range attacks and they can't actually attack up close. So if your skeletons did move in on them, they'd have to spend their next round moving back to be able to do anything.
Right. So that, you know, I am going to go with the skeletons then, and it's going to be kind of like a coordinated attack, since that's more of my MO, where we're flanking and converging. So yeah, I'll spend both that, my action and my move, to get up close.
Okay. And do you have any spells that you want to throw off?
I have bone armor, but I don't know if I can if that has any game mechanic effect, or can I cast a spell to make it have a mechanical effect?
Yeah. Yeah, if you wanna run some like ad hoc necromancy here because you did spend some necromantic time earlier setting this armor up. Make me a bone roll, and we'll see if you can get some protection off that armor.
Five.
5. All right. Then yeah, it will absorb the next hit that comes in on you,
Okay.
whatever the damage is, but it's going to crumble after that.
All right. Cool.
All right. So is that your turn?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So I just have the 2 of them left. Oh, this was another thing I didn't consider. So if they moved back, since you're up in close quarters with them, if they moved back without using a move or a special power or something, then you would get attacks of opportunity on them from you and all your skeletons. So let me see if they have anything else they want to do. No, they're kind of shit for other actions with people up on close on them. But before they move back, you will the laser bot will open its mouth, and this like piercingly loud mechanical chirp comes out of it, as you can tell that it is giving the call for other forces to come center in here. But the 2 of them will move back. So yeah, you or any of your skeletons can make an attack on the J, and then an attack on the laser bot. I don't feel good about them surviving this.
So I guess I'll be using bone. And am I rolling for one roll for all of them, or how should I do that?
This would be should probably be muscle or nerve. I think this is, the speed of combat is too fast for this to be a bone action.
Okay, I'll use nerve.
So yeah, this is dexterously catching them before they can get out of range of your weapon or bony fingers or whatever you're using.
I have a rapier.
Nice. So yeah, make me a roll. You could spend a well for extra dice if you want.
I roll 2 5s.
Nice. And were you attacking the laser bot or the J?
The J.
All right. Well, he can't use his sniper rifle at this range, but I do think he's going to peck you for 2 damage, as its sharp beak comes in and stabs through your arm. But you will take that one down. Do you want to have one of the skeletons attack the laser bot?
Yes. What do they have? Do I roll with my stats for them?
Yes.
Okay. If it was an attack of opportunity, did the guy still get a chance to peck me?
Yep.
Okay.
It's because you rolled a consequence. The 5 gave you a success with a consequence, so he got a move off in return.
Okay, cool. I rolled a 2 and a 1 for the skeleton.
Oh. Yeah. So I think they do, or the skeleton does take it down, but rips off the wrong part of it, as the energy core powering it is exposed to the air and then explodes, and all 5 of you, gosh, there are a lot of you, all 5 of you take 2 damage. Yours gets absorbed by your armor, which will then crumble,
Okay.
but all your skeletons take 2 damage. And you can make me a 1d6 drop roll for that, Jay.
One.
Ooh. Y'all are not picking up on this alien energy easily. So you take those 2 down, the laser bot blows up. You have all your enemies laying dead at your feet when crashing out of the trees. You see a new squad arrive. There is a jackdaw up front in their impressive gold shining armor. Let's see. Let's go with 4 magpies, 2 ravens, and a couple of shield bots on either side of the jackdaw. So the 8 of them come crashing out of the trees as the jackdaw in front gives a blood-curdling what can only be war squawk, and the others go diving forwards. So that's our sort of like how the battlefield changed up. Back around to y'all. So, who wants to go? They're coming in at mid-range from the 2 of you that are back by the crows. They're landing right in close range on top of you, Lemora, and the skeletons.
Oh.
Do we rinse and repeat? Just hit him with the same combo. It might
Sure.
be slightly less effective given their health, but I guess.
Yeah, if you can get them prone, that'd be great.
Yeah. So remember, when they're prone, all attacks do 1 extra damage. So I think that'll help. Yeah. So I guess from my vantage point over the corpse of this poor crow, I think I'm gonna, hold the spear aloft, letting I don't know if is it blood or is it like mechanical? It looks like a mixture of both.
There's some oil, there's some purple blood.
Yeah. Yeah, with the spear aloft, I think I will let out that banshee scream again. Kind of less directed and more kind of general, but still in their direction. And I'm gonna push it for 2 damage. I think maybe just 1. Yeah, maybe just 1 for now.
All right, so 1 damage to all of them.
Yeah, and I guess they all go prone anyway, right?
Yes, there is a squawking tumble of feathers and limbs and guns and confusion.
And I guess they might be in range for another charge from me if I'm taking all my actions at the same time.
Yeah, go for it.
Plus, last time I forgot, the description on spear says this weapon can hit up to 2 targets within range.
Oh, nice.
So I guess I am, it's one to the left and one to the right, and does not think it too many, to paraphrase Sonia. So yeah, I think I will end up maybe taking on a couple of those magpies. They look like mean bastards. So
Yes, they're very hefty, very angry looking.
very angry looking indeed.
So probably muscle.
Yeah, for sure. It's a 5.
All right. You don't have to. Gotcha. Okay. You don't have to make separate rolls or anything. So yeah, you're going to hit 2 of them for how much damage does your spear do?
So it's 2 with the spear and then 1 extra because they're prone, right?
Nice. So that will take the 2 of them down. But I think the other 2 magpies standing next to them are going to get attacks off on you. I guess only one of them, just one consequence. Sorry, thinking. Yeah, so one of the other magpies looks very uncomfortable about this turn of events, grabs the other one next to him, and you hear the electronic sort of chirp of something activating as this glowing purple bubble shield pops up around the 2 of them. So is that all your actions?
Yeah.
All right. Camilla or Lemura, they're all laid out on the ground. Easy pickings. That scream is such a great ability.
So are you bumping the shield saved those 2 magpies, right? So they're back up to 3.
Oh, no. It's now protecting the other 2 that you did.
Oh, okay.
So actually you do get 2 drop dice on those 2 that went down. Sorry,
Okay.
I forgot about that.
So it's 2 each. 2 each.
Yeah,
right?
you get 2 each. Wow. 4 drop dice.
3, 4, 5, 6. That's an array of results.
So that's 2 little 2 health globs and 2 1 well globs.
Okay.
So you can throw those around as you wish.
So I think we're all. So I'm at 4 out of 5 health. So that's 1 for me. And then I think, Rod, your skeletons all took damage last turn, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I guess he'll throw him if that's.
Yeah, so I've got
choice.
3 health to give out. So
okay.
I guess maybe 2 to Thrum and 1 to one of the other skeletons, if that makes sense to you.
Sure. I'll write that down. 3.
And Patrick, you said 2 wells?
Yep, which someone could take both, you could split them up.
Yeah. Rod, there's you're max. Is Camilla at max?
I'm at 4.
Okay.
Looks like you're at 3. So
I'm at 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So call. Yeah.
I'll take 1 and I'll give 1 to you, to Lemura.
Thanks. Thank you.
Nice. So Lemura, Camilla, who wants to go next?
Camilla, do you want to go?
Okay. So Camilla is seeing. So this jackdaw is in mid range, right, from Camilla? Or they're far range?
Yeah, they're all at mid range for you.
Okay. So that's what Camilla is going for. And she has prepared some bottles for this. So she's taking some kind of very bright green bottle, and she's drinking it and swishing it around in her mouth a bit. And she's she takes off her her hood, and she's going to be spitting acid in the face of this jackdaw. So she's stepping out of the shadows, and she's throwing her head back, and she's having this out of her mouth comes this this jet of burning acid in the jackdaw's face.
Nice. So that's one well. Do you want to push it?
Yes.
All right. You want to go to the mid range, or spend 3 wells and go all the way up?
Yeah, I'm going for it. I'm not doing this often. It's really bad for my throat actually, but I'm when I'm doing it, it needs to happen well. So that is yeah, three wells. So no, okay.
So you do 4 damage to it.
Yeah, 4 damage and 1 damage at the beginning of each round for the next 2 rounds. Plus 1 for prone.
Plus 1 for prone, very true. So it's down to 9 health. Anything else? You said you're still back at mid range.
Yeah.
So you could move up and take an attack, or you could hang back. Or you could do some other action.
Let's see. I think I want to stay in the mid range for a bit. So I am staying here. I cannot do another spell, right?
You can, as long as it doesn't say that it takes an action.
Mm-hmm. No,
or,
I've
well,
done enough spells.
You haven't taken an action, so you could even do that lead dry if you wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'll do that.
All right. Is this at the jackdaw as well?
It has
9 hit points left.
Yeah. No, I'm going for the magpies.
All right.
I'm doing the same thing with the candle, blowing it out. It's a little harder to blow now for me after doing the spit, the acid spitting. So I'm also kind of like waving with my hand to get a candle out.
So that'll hit both of the magpies by default. It'll do 2 damage, or you could push it with an extra well to do 3 damage and take them down.
Are they also still prone?
Oh, yeah. So you get the extra damage for free. I am so bad at remembering that. Then yeah, you can get them with your basic.
Yeah.
So yeah, is it the same trick? Do we get some more purple geysers going?
Yeah.
which is great because they're inside their bubble. They're looking at Nivera like, haha, let's see you get your spear through this now. They've got their shotguns ready to go, and then just like spraying out and coating the inside of the shield. It's like solid purple blood.
Oh no.
They fall down still safely ensconced in their bubble shield. It's going fine. That's great. You can roll a d6 for each of them for drop dice.
A 5 and a 2.
The 2 doesn't do anything, but the 5 is a well.
Okay.
Which you can take or someone else can take.
No, I'll take that.
Nice. All right. Lemura. There's much fewer of them left.
Cool. So there's 2 ravens and the
there's
jackdaw.
2 ravens, the jackdaw, and its 2 shield bots.
So it says it takes an action for me to direct the skeletons to attack. Does that mean I won't be able to attack if they attack? I think I did that wrong.
Yeah, you can't. I'm sorry. I don't think it takes an action to command them, does it?
For animate skeletons, it says, and attack targets of your choice if you use your action to direct them.
Oh, use your action. Yes.
Yeah.
So that would have been, yeah, that would have been one of your skeletons attacking last time rather than you. So you can't melee attack them and command the skeletons at the same time, but you can still do spells.
Okay.
And move if you want to.
So just to be clear, so I can do I have an action, a movement, and I can cast a spell per round.
You can cast as many spells as you want as long as they don't say that they take an action.
Okay.
And you have to spend wells for all of them.
All right. So we start. The skeletons and Thrum will attack the our prone enemies. Actually, what? So one skeleton will attack a bot. One skeleton will attack a magpie. The third skeleton will attack a magpie.
Ravens.
And yeah, and I guess Thrum will attack the jackdaw.
Okay.
All right. So first skeleton. A 3 and a 4.
So a 4 hits with a consequence. How much damage does it do?
It does, I believe, 2 damage.
And then +1 for prone.
Right.
But as the skeleton is ripping into it, it does get off a mechanical work as you see a layer of less bubbly, more sort of form-fitting purple shielding go up around the jackdaw as the shield bot uses the last of its energy to shield the jackdaw as your consequence there.
So the magpie attack on the magpie 1 is a 4 and a 3 from a skeleton. It would do, I guess, 3 total damage.
It's the ravens.
Is it a raven? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Raven, yes.
Yeah, that as the skeleton goes in and starts tearing on the raven, one of its like metal lined claws will come up and start breaking apart its rib cage and trying to reach for its spine. As I'm going to use its move, Punch a Fool, and do 3 damage to that skeleton.
That skeleton's dead.
Oh yeah, so it crashes through the rib cage and grabs the spine and just like pulverizes it as it rips this skeleton apart into 2 parts. But it is not looking good itself. Other skeleton?
Yeah, the other skeleton will attack a raven, and
The same raven or the less injured raven?
the same raven.
Okay.
I got a 4 and a 2.
So this time it's had a bit of a chance. It sees the second one coming into it, and it knows what's up. You see it slap something on its arm as red lights start flashing over his entire armor there. And as the skeleton punches its way through his heart, the armor itself explodes in bright purple energy. And that skeleton's going to take 3, and everyone else that's up there close is going to take 1 damage, including its fellow raven, the jackdaw, and the shield bot. But also, I believe, Navarro? Or did she stay back at mid?
No, I was up to attack the 2
That's-
first
yep,
magpies, right?
that's right.
So I'll take 2.
So yeah, you take a damage as well. Lamora, you take a damage.
Okay. Does
And
Thrum
Thrum.
and Thrum? Okay. My last 2 skeletons are still on their feet. And then I guess Thrum. I'll roll for Thrum to attack the jackdaw.
All right.
And that's as I do, or
I'm sorry, what was that?
he had. Does Thrum have the same stats?
Yeah, he uses your stats as well.
Okay. All right. 3 and a 5. And he
5.
gets I think he gets a +1 for having +1 to damage for having allies nearby.
Oh, the rapier. Yeah, I think so.
Yes. Yep. And then for being prone, so
4 damage.
yes, 4 damage.
Nice.
The jackdaw has some kind of shielding. I don't know if that. help him.
Oh, it does. And so that's actually going to pop and stop all that damage.
Damn. All right.
And as Thrum like gets his rapier in there and it scrapes along the shell, the jackdaw is going to flash up one of its clawed gauntleted hands and rip Thrum's hand and the rapier off of the end of his arm. Doesn't do damage, but will disarm him.
Okay.
I think I want to try one more round. I know we're getting close, and we're going to have to heavily epilogue the end of this. Do make a 1d6 drop roll for that raven that you killed.
A 6.
Nice. A well.
Well, I'll does Navera want it?
I think does our bang for our buck come for getting it to Camilla? Maybe for
Oh,
if there's going to
sure.
be another acid spit or something. A
Um,
max boost will do us some good.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, another well for you, Camilla.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, so that's all three of you. The surviving shield bot is going to work again and surround that jackdaw in purple energy. The raven is going to toss basically like a handful of little micro explosives out in front of you, in front of it, that blow up in front of Navira and Lemura and the skeletons. You can each make a nerve roll, and Lemura just make one nerve roll for your group, to see if you can get out of the way of it.
Can I use a well to add dice
Yes.
to that? Okay, I'll do that.
I got a 5 on my dodge.
Nice.
I got a 6.
Nice. So Navira, you do manage to dive out of the way of the explosion, but you land exactly where the Corvid wanted you to, which is right by its hidden ally, who throws off his invisibility cloak as one of the Dendrocida is there. You see it throw off its cloak and attack you. You'll take 4 damage as it stabs its knife right into your chest, Navira. Lemura, you manage to be just out of the way as another one stabs at you, throws off its cloak and stabs at you. And Camilla, while you're watching this, you don't see the one that's sneaking up behind you to stab you for 4 damage as well. The 3 of them are exposed now, though, and in their description is they die at a stiff breeze.
Well, that kills Navera, right? That was 4 damage.
Oh, do you have a well?
I do, yeah.
So spend a well and you'll come back to full health.
Full health, okay. But I think maybe, I mean, I was thinking of using my ghost, going ghost ability, but that kind of will dovetail nicely into being killed and then like returning into a ghost form right behind it or something like that.
Nice. I said I don't think we have time to push another round of it. So I think, yeah, as those attack, as Navira watches her lifeblood spurt out of her before she what does it look like when you go ghost?
Yeah, I think I just appear in the crow's shadow, like just kind of coming out of the mist or out of the smoke that's erupted in the battlefield, like a ghostly form, to do my worst against it.
Nice. So you see those three Dendrocida and the jackdaw there, who like half of its sort of golden mask has melted away, and you see the burned and puckered bird skin underneath, and just this like eye glaring with hatred as it gives a loud caw, and a couple of dozen crows, a dozen ravens, a whole swarm of laser bots, and a giant, like bus-sized sentinel bot come flapping in. It is way more than y'all can handle, and it's convenient that it's right at that time that you get a call from Varia saying that you need to retreat back here to the Attila. We have a plan. And so the plan is, as you're retreating, you find out that Agatha was successful and managed to get most of the people of that town out of there. There were a couple of scout groups of crows and jays that managed to get into town and killed a couple of the townspeople, injured some more on their way out. But Agatha managed to lead them back. But as you're running, Captain Varia will tell you that the Corvid ship has landed on the planet. It decided to come down itself because of the death waves that y'all were sort of dealing out to its scout ships. It thought it could just send a couple of units down to take out these villagers, and suddenly there are dead crows everywhere. So the ship itself has landed on the planet, and as you make it into the Attila's cargo bay, Captain meets you there and says there are waves of crows coming. They should be here any minute, but Tiberius and I, we've worked up a ritual. We need your help. We can't do it by ourselves, but we've worked up a ritual to kill the moon. If we drive necromantic energy down into the heart of it, it'll create a cascade of energy. We can use this ritual to focus it like a lance straight at that ship. We can blow it up. We can trap them here on this moon, and we can make it back down to Hecate's surface to warn them of what's coming. The tricky part, and the part that I need your help with, will be siphoning enough of that energy back into the Attila's drive to get them up off the ground and going. It would take weeks to repair this thing as it is. We can get out of here and, well, we've got this settlement clear, and there should be, if they have transport, maybe enough time for the other settlements to clear before the moon goes very strange. So I want to go around the circle one last time. I want to hear what you do to help prepare for this ritual. And then we'll get a roll from each of you and sort of look at them to see how well this whole plan goes. So Navera, how do you think you're helping with this ritual?
I think I'll be helping in terms of directing it towards the Corvid ship. So I think maybe we've been able to pick up a few bits and pieces from the dead Corvids, and I'll be using like psychometry to, get a real sense of exactly what the maybe weaknesses of the Corvid ship is from that.
Nice. Yeah, I think you're finally managing to get like a lock on the sort of spiritual signature of these things. Like, you'll had such a hard time making use of their death energy, but you've collected a couple pieces of them, and you've managed to tune in to the the spiritual energy of these corvid, and you can sense like just the shining beacon of it on the ship. Not masses of them. That would make sort of a low but sort of pulsing light of spirit energy, but you feel like one spiritual point in the middle of that ship. Either a massive corvid or some sort of like biological engine like the Attila is. But you think you can use that as a beacon to anchor the outpouring of this necromantic energy. So give me a roll. I'll say all of these rolls are probably going to be bone by default, but you can certainly argue me towards either the other stats if you want.
Yeah, so bone, I think arcane knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Discipline? Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So it's 4 dice. What the hell? I will spend a well to give myself a bump of 2 dice.
You're unlikely to need it in the next 10 minutes.
So that is 6. Two 6s. That'll do.
Oh, that'll do nicely. Yeah, so what is your part of the spell when this ritual goes off and you've got the spiritual homing beacon? Like, what do the special effects look like here at the ritual?
Yeah, I think maybe maybe I'm kind of attuning to the targeting system that our new navigator / helm officer is aiming at, and I'm slowly just kind of micromanaging the targeting reticule towards where I sense that kind of powerful center of the ship is.
Nice. Camilla, what are you doing to help with this ritual?
I am helping to revive Attila. I direct some of the energy out of the moon. I think I am kneeling on the ground and I'm putting my hands kind of in the ground and absorbing some of the necromantic powers from the moon, using myself as a kind of temporary vessel, and I'm taking all that energy. I think my eyes are kind of rolling back, and there's these kind of inky, smoky shadows around me because of all this energy. And when I have absorbed enough energy, I'm connecting my own blood with that of Attila. So we're like sharing the same bloodstream, and I'm sharing all of the excess necromantic energy with Attila the behemoth. And I think so they had a lot of lights and everything that was kind of powered down because of the shock. Those are slowly like coming on right now.
Nice. And Captain Varia, as soon as you start working extra sigils and you start pulling up your blood to connect with Attila, she comes to start working right alongside you. She obviously her first concern is the Attila. Like she says that it's the success of this mission and getting information back to the planet, but she and the Attila are family. They're like one. And so as you're starting to do this ritual, she's there right alongside you. She's helping you find like vein and nerve and necromantic connections into the Attila. Saying like, oh no, we want to pull this line in. That'll get us straight into the central cortex. You know, all this sort of stuff. And she's a big help to your workings there. So I think I'd let her act as a discipline for you. So she'll give you an extra die to your roll.
I would say I have an extra die because I have medicine.
I like that.
And I'm going to, so my bone is 1, so I'm going to be using some wells. I think, so you cannot go to 0 wells, right?
You can go down to 0. You can't spend more than 1 at a time for
okay.
dice.
Okay. I thought I'm going all in.
All the dice. I will say, with what you're doing, with this blood work, if you were willing to bleed enough to take a permanent scar, a permanent injury for your character, you could use muscle instead.
I think so, yeah. I think it would be a scar around my heart. I think I need to maybe kind of take out my heart for a little bit and connect like a tube to it so it pulses with Attila.
Oh yes, that is definitely worth it. Yeah, you can roll with muscle plus your 2 discipline dice plus 2 well dice if you want to spend a well.
Yes. So that's 8. Okay, I have a whole bunch. What do we need again?
What's your highest die?
It's a 6.
Nice. So you're working that part of the ritual with the captain, and where your help, where your knowledge and your assistance comes in, especially useful, is while the ritual's going off, you can feel the energy that it will take to get the Attila up and going again, is more than anyone necromancer could channel. If Captain Varia had been doing this herself, or if you'd gotten a mixed success with the consequence, that much necromantic energy running through her would have destroyed her body. It probably would have tied her spirit into the Attila itself, but you don't know whether that would be a good thing or a bad thing, because revenant spirits have a way of going weird and bad over time. But shunting the energy through the 2 of you, it hurts. It's like 3rd-degree burns on your soul. But it's just enough that the 2 of you manage to hang on. Yeah, I love it. So, Lemura, what are you doing to help with the ritual?
Well, okay, so I'm gonna call, not necessarily summon, but call to all the bones of all who've died on this planet, on this moon, to warn their ancestors and try to get them to safety, to help to evacuate.
Nice.
Right. So I mean, I'm certainly not trying to animate anything in this scale. I'm just kind of doing a distress call and sending it
and
out into the moon. Yeah.
There's so much extra energy going on in this ritual. Like, it would be it would have you like bleeding out of all of the holes in your face just to send this sort of call out to one distant settlement. But to do all of them, you just have this wave of power running through you. So yeah, I think that's again, it's bone by default unless you want to argue for something else.
No,
And I
and
think
I'll use
we can use your nature discipline,
Okay.
because you are like, this is the last gasp of all of the natural green energy on this world. So I think you know how to connect into that well.
And I will use my one well as well for extra dice.
Nice.
So this should be 7. Okay. 1, 2. Okay, I got a 6 already. So.
Nice. You all do perfectly. No mixed successes at all. But yeah, what is the special effects of your necromancy traveling through the planet and warning these other settlements look like?
Right. So it'll just be like quick shots, like a montage of different settlements where, bones, erupt from the ground and kind of like, maybe like trace warnings in the dirt, or, try to leading people to their ships, or basically just directing, the dead leading the living to safety.
Nice. And so the 5 of you, y'all 3, Tiberius the captain, you finish this ritual, and there's this rumbling in the core of the planet. You feel the ground shake under you for a moment, and all of you are attuned enough that you can feel this rush of energy coming up through the surface of the planet. It spears out through the Corvid ship in this gigantic, like, glowing black plume of energy. And you feel just the trickle that you were pulling off of this torrent is still more necromantic energy than any of you have held in your hands probably ever before. But you pull that trickle into the Attila, as all of the surfaces everywhere where there's any sort of like bone or organ showing start glowing with that white necromantic light that we'd seen earlier from Lemura and the skull. It starts glowing from everywhere, brighter and brighter and brighter, until all of you are sort of blinded in this after image. But you hear Captain Varia at the helm, voice calm and confident as she's talking to the Attila itself, coaxing them up off the ground, telling them they just need to give this one more push. You end up rising off of the planet on a wave of this necromantic energy before you see the like cascade of reactor explosions going through the Corvid ship, blasting out a whole new crater in this moon. And all of you, along with that settlement's worth of people, most of the crew that you managed to save, you all managed to get away. The biggest casualty from this whole encounter is the Attila themselves, who they were not even a behemoth that big couldn't handle that much necromantic energy either. And while they're still here, they're an undead ship now, something that's never happened with any of the behemoths in living memory. And Captain Varia doesn't know what's going to come with it, but she'll stay there with the Attila until the both of them are dust. You manage to get back to the Coven. You have all sorts of information, up close personal information they haven't had before. Camilla, especially, you have samples upon samples, all this stuff that you and Agatha managed to grab on your way out. I think you also bring back a couple of the corvid bodies and some body parts. Like it is invaluable information, and it's notable that this is, as horrible as it was, this was the first actual major victory against the corvid by anyone in the system. And you're all lauded as heroes, even as the whole planet is gearing up for what promises to be a long and bloody war. And that's where we're going to end. I'm sorry we were a couple of minutes late. If people have 10 minutes or so, I'd love to do a quick round of stars, roses, just things that you liked about the system, and maybe some wishes of things that you thought could be better about the system or could have been better about how we played tonight. You know, how the game went tonight, not how we played, but how the scenario went tonight. We'll start with wishes and go back around with stars. I'll say I wish I got the timing on this a little better. I really should have, looking back on it, probably moved us towards the combat section a little earlier, just so we could have a little bit more there. But I mean, I enjoyed the stuff on the ship, so 6 1 half dozen the other. We'll go in the order of Capdana wishes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I think the exact opposite. I would have liked to spend more time on the ship and maybe
Fair.
less time crunching through those corvid bodies. But you know, yeah, because I really enjoyed those kind of moments of quiet. Maybe you need that kind of difference to highlight both. You know? So yeah, but I guess yeah, I would like to see maybe more in character time between the three of us. But yeah,
It is a fascinating world setup. Like, it's just I did love all of the weirdnesses of digging into necromantic life. Mariana, any wishes?
I wish I had known more about the four humors for this character. I think that would have been good. Yeah, I think I agree with Donna that it would be fun to have more like character, more interaction between the three of us. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it.
And Rob.
Yeah, I loved how we all played necromancers, but very different ones, and it gelled very nicely with our different personalities as well. Yeah, I loved your GMing style. It really, I mean, that's the style I like.
Oh,
I understand. Yeah, I mean the big battle was cool, but yeah, it's always a balance, right? Because you have to find time. I enjoyed the role playing moments as well, very much. I guess it took me some time to figure out how powerful I was, but I guess that you know that's the first game, so.
Me too. I was sort of shocked at how capable all of the characters ended up being, but especially like that stack of skeletons around you.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. Yeah.
Nice. Any other stars you want to point out? Any other thing you want to say, Rod?
Yeah, I mean, I wish. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd love to play a full campaign of this. You could really dig in to a lot of the details of the world building and characters.
Yeah. Like I think I mentioned before, but there's an expansion book for it, The Progenitors, which takes you through dealing with the actual advance of the corvid from planet to planet, and you deal with like refugees from the planets or going out and getting sent on missions to try and stop something here or save some resource there. and it's a really well laid out sort of campaign arc and introduction to the world. Mariana, any stars, things you really enjoyed that you want to point out?
Yeah, I loved the setting. That was so good. I loved how you described everything, Patrick. But also the yeah, all the pictures of the NPCs and in the Pinterest folder. The enemies are so cool. I was looking at I found the enemies tab later, but they're also so freaky.
I had a really fun time finding those.
Yeah, I really loved all the pictures. That was really good. Yeah, and just the setting of like space necromancers. That was really nice.
Lovely, thank you. Donna, any stars?
Yeah, I really appreciated all of the kind of descriptions everyone put into every drop and ounce of blood and bone and viscera. Like there seemed to be wonderfully icky stuff going on every time we turn the camera on someone's character. So that was great to see.
Nice. I had a great time playing with y'all. I had a great time in the system. I will say, like, I definitely had that impulse to get to the fight because Lumen bills itself as this very like fighting video game sort of engine. But I also really loved the weirdness and character interactions. You know, my impulse is always towards the talking head side of story gaming rather than shooting crows, as cool as they are. So I'm glad that y'all dug that part too. I love the world building from everyone. I thought as a table and individually, you all managed to find that line of gross fantasy where things are weird and squishy and icky, but not like, oh my god, do we have to talk about spleens again, or stop braiding the intestines together? What it never went into that like, ugh, gross sort of line, but it was that like funny gross, which was something I was really looking forward to out of this setting. I Mariana and Rod, it was great to get a chance to play with both of you. I've played with Donna, and I know that he's super fun, but it was great to meet both of you and have a ton of fun with you. Yeah, this is neat. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. Say good night to internet peoples.